Mr. President, Presidents, Vice Presidents, authorities here in the room, Excellencies, Ministers, esteemed delegates, dear friends, welcome to the 2009 ILO Summit on the global jobs crisis. The call for today is leadership. Leadership at all levels. And this will be a meeting of leaders in the room and leaders that will come to speak to us. We are clear about the challenges we face. The world cannot afford to wait for employment to come back several years after economic growth has returned. Rapid recovery of employment and the accompanying social protection needs must be central to public policy and business decisions. At the same time, we need to rebuild an efficient social market economy that will prevent relapsing into the excesses and inequalities of the past. And I think that we must be attentive, because we can already sense certain interests that just can't wait to go back to business as usual. We know where we want to go: a world economy that works for all, delivers on decent work for women and men, social justice at home, and a fair globalization in the world. This is our task ahead, and that's the mandate of the 2008 Declaration, and it cannot be delayed, particularly in a crisis situation. Dear friends, we have today a great honor, an extraordinary situation for us. We have today the single largest gathering in the history of the ILO, of heads of state and government, vice presidents, labor ministers, presidents of trade union, leaders of employees' organizations, and distinguished international personalities. In the course of these 2.5 days, we will have the largest gathering of such personalities in the history of this institution. Their presence honors the ILO, and I thank them for their continued engagement, the guidance they will give us, and above all, the political energy they bring to our work. This summit is a tribute to the significance and role of the ILO in its 90th anniversary, an anniversary that you have marked so eloquently in your own countries. And thank you for your wonderful commitment. 200 events in 120 countries in the course of 1 week, and there's still more to come. Thank you so much for that. Dear friends, tested by history, the ILO has been. Tested today, we are again. We have come together to agree on a decent work recovery from the crisis through the ILO's Global Jobs Pact. The chair and vice chairs will report to us on the work of the Committee of the Whole, and I want to thank them very warmly for their intensive work and results, together with the drafting group and the members of the committee. Our task will be to apply the policies of a Global Jobs Pact to be adopted in order to accelerate recovery at home and coordinate measures internationally, so that no one is left out, no one is left behind. We need many things to get this done, but above all, leadership. Leadership with a moral compass guiding action. Leadership that dares to take new approaches. Leadership to fix what has gone wrong. Leadership that listens and opens doors. Leadership to find common ground in a world of nations molded in different cultures and realities. Leadership that can deliver the national and international agreements that put people first. Strong leadership to give life to a global jobs pact in each country, in enterprises and workplaces, at the United Nations, in the G20, in regional bodies, in international organizations, and in local communities. Leadership to make it happen. In moving forward, we can rely on a strong ILO to pursue our ideals, to carry out our mandate, and to deliver for our constituents. A key dimension of leadership is the capacity to work together, to coordinate, to cooperate, to negotiate, to be a team player. Cooperation and dialogue is urgent, central, indispensable. At these times, what brings social partners together with governments is far greater than their differences. The green shoots of renewed social dialogue sprouting here and there must multiply. And yet, we know this is one of the biggest leadership challenges that we face, to make social dialogue work at home. We know it's not easy. We justify its absence. We find excuses for its underperformance. We sometimes blame each other. But in the end, the result is that we all lose. If social dialogue does not take root at home in times of crisis, we would be weakening the full potential of a global jobs pact. And it is in your hands to make it fly high. We also need renewed leadership in international cooperation. The Group of 20 assumed the responsibility to act and took urgent decisions. I think it was timely, and we welcome their call on the ILO. But new forms of global governance are unavoidable, based on the democratic membership of the United Nations. The UN Chief Executive Board is working on 9 joint initiatives to confront the crisis, including on employment and social protection with the ILO as lead agency. But overarching political guidance for a convergent multilateral system is not yet there. This requires new political impetus, bold decisions. This crisis must accelerate needed reforms. We must urgently set in motion a process of much greater convergence and coherent cooperation among multilateral institutions. It must cover through different forms of action: trade, finance, development cooperation, environment and climate change, labor markets and decent work, basic needs and food security, health, education, and innovation among the principal ones, as foundational pillars of a renewed global governance. And certainly, cooperation to implement the Global Jobs Pact will be a priority for us, but also a need. The ILO will not implement the Global Jobs Pact on its own.